you might see like it's not a panty liner, but this is also representation of having pads. My daughter, she would when she would go to school, she would always just have pads enough for herself. And it was only during that time, you know, and I was like, well, you might want to have them at all times. What if your friend needs one? You know, don't always think about yourself. Sometimes you have to think about other people, okay? Another thing is that sometimes if you have a first aid situation, you can use a pad as a bandage. So, I mean, don't just think about just, you know, that time of the month. It can answer a whole lot of things, okay? So make sure you have those things. There's also a little pill packet inside. It's just, you know, for your prescriptions. My son is autistic, but on top of that, he also has a heart condition he has to take medications for. So I try to, every time, instead of going back every month, I try to go back maybe 2 or 3 or 4 days earlier, and I take those extra pills and put them to the side. So if stuff hit the fan, I'm not going to be in no line talking about, hey, my baby needs some medication right now. You know what I mean? I want to have enough medication stored up, so I don't care if it's 2 months later, when they can, you know, because you know when things are going on, there's always this long line in front of people, and I'm not going to be in no line. I don't want to have to feel like, I got to be in that line because something might happen to my son. At least I can take a week, see if the line go down or something, you know. So, you know, think ahead. You know, some of us are taking care of our mothers and our, you know, our fathers that are elderly. Make sure that you're stocking up on your medications as well. Formula for your babies. Just think ahead. Think ahead. Don't, because I know for myself, you always just worried about right now. Well, I got enough to give out right now. That's not going to work with what could possibly happen. That's not going to work. If you're thinking like that, you're going to be goners. You know, if something really bad happens, okay? So be prepared, okay? So that's all I have to say on that. This is just for this year. Hopefully we'll be able to do it again next year, and we can really dig deep into some survival strategies. I know of a lady, she taught us to take the lint from your dryer, and you can start fire easily that way. So we're going to just kind of go off into those things, being prepared for a disaster, okay? Thank you.
As a quick note to Shireen's survival kits, she also has some websites on here that you can go to. One that I use myself is ready.gov. That's the federal government's disaster preparedness site, and it gives you a lot of helpful ideas. I personally carry tea lights in my car with matches, because if your car stops and you're on the road and it gets cold, you can light that tea light. It already has its own container, so you don't have to worry about wax dripping. You can stay warm. You can have light to say, hey, I'm here. I also carry granola bars in my car, and I have a blanket in my car at all times. A lot of people got stuck on I-20 when we had the last ice storm, and there was a man on the news, he was stuck on I-20 for 11 hours. So keep bottled water in your car, keep granola bars in your car, keep your phone charged whenever you're in your car, because when that power goes out, you'll need it for light, you'll need it to call for help, those things. So these websites that she provided on the card, be sure to look at these. Your preparedness kit can be a backpack, it can be a shoebox, get you some matches, get you some Band-Aids, get you, you know, even some tape, you know, a bandana to cover your mouth if it's dust or anything, smoke around. A simple bandana and some water could save your life. So those are the kind of things that everyone needs to be aware of, because not only can you help yourself, but you can help others around you. And like she said, with the pad, she's absolutely right. You know what it does for you on a monthly basis and what it can hold. So, you know, the same thing, if you got a cut and somebody needed it, it's not pretty, but it might save a life. So, that being said, yes, ma'am.
I wanted to show y'all this, but I was up before I knew it. This is a
gloves or vinyl gloves if you're like, I'm allergic to latex, so you know you can get vinyl-free, latex-free gloves, bandages.
When they had to put a needle in his arm, they had to use this to keep it there. This is a good brace for somebody breaks their arm.
Right.
You know,
think outside the box.
think outside the box and do what's best for you. And be thrifty. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg on stuff.
No, you do not. So, with that being said, if you have any questions about survival tips, we do have a doctor on site. Dr. Crable, if you have questions about things you can do, I am a self-professed 99-cent queen, so if you have any questions on that, I'm sure I can tell you where to go to find things at a cheap rate, because I'm just cheap by nature. So with that being said, moving on to our next activity for today is the Vitality of Nutrition and Gardening panel.